me as you guys coming in here. Don't forget to hit that like button. Another day here in Hawaii. Aloha! And it is Aloha Thursday. Coming in here. Don't forget to hit that Aloha Thursday to all of you guys. If you all are just coming in, just go ahead and hit that like button. And welcome to another conversation on the go with Life with Paulette. Yes, guys, I am trying, okay? I am trying to get a sitting spot so that I can go ahead and mix up that hair pudding that I told you I was going to get together for you guys. But on the go as I am heading to pick up my last Walmart Spark for the day. Today I started off, and basically it is another, shmoney talk, because we're going to talk about some money. How you all can make some money while you are walking on your holiness walk. That's isn't it great that you could also create as you are thriving on your faith walk? Isn't that awesome? I like that. So hopefully you guys are here for it. And if you're not, I'm a bidi goody to you too. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that do drop in every once in a while. And so not Tuesday, it's Thursday. See, I've even lost track of the timing. I know one good thing. So my group in the Bay Islands of Honduras group, they send out a text, in connections, with the Cayman Island group. All the Caribbean groups are opening up what they call now probably like a WhatsApp group, by the way, so all my little holiness sisters and brothers, we all are forming together one group, which is being put together pretty good. We already have like probably 60 people in that group that is from side, and everybody is connecting because, Pastor always talk about all the plans for this year and the traveling and all the convocations that's going to be going on down there. So right now, guys, everybody is pulling all the Caribbeans together so that way, we could all be in sync on what's going on. And I can't wait, guys. It's awesome. So that's what happened today, new, and I enjoy that, to be a part of a group also that is in constant building and growing, in areas that you never would have thought, that we could grow on, but that's what's new today here on Life with Paulette. So we are part of that group. So if you are from the Caribbean or any, part of the islands for Honduras or the Cayman Islands or any one of those islands, and you are interested in being a part of that group or stay connected or connect any family member that is walking on their holiness walk and they just need that little connection over there, just, reach out, send email. If I'm not mistaken, there's someone in charge of that. But if you need information, you just let me know. My email is lifewithpaulette at, I think, yahoo.com. Y'all can email me if you need information in regards to the Caribbean group and knowing what's going on over there. But on another note, like I was mentioning to you guys at start of this morning with Lyft, let me tell you, today was probably Senior Citizen Day on Lyft because the majority of the individuals that I picked up, guys, were senior citizen. I'm going to just share with you guys probably 2 or 3 of them, okay? Conversations, because when I tell you conversation on the go, I would love to tape some of my Lyft conversation with these individuals. And when I say senior citizens, I'm talking about like late 60s, 70-year-old individuals, nearly 80-year-old, coming in my car and having conversation. Majority of my rides, guys, you all know at the beginning I was scared. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have people in the back of my car. It was just something that didn't settle with me when on doing Lyft. So I was a little bit hectic at the beginning, like, concerned about how it was going to go about. But I must tell you guys, it's going good. It's going real good. It's going so good that I am shocked, okay? Everything is going great when it comes to lift. I do not do 20, 30, 40 lifts, like 12 hours shift. I don't do that. Y'all already know my shift. I get up in the morning. I leave my house at 5:30 when it comes to my gig work. I work out before I go to the gym, and I work out on the way home from the gym. That's my daily routine. I don't change it up. And if I do switch it here and there, it's going to be where I'm doing grocery shopping, or I'm taking the kids to their appointments, or I'm doing something in between. But my schedule is pretty set, guys. I always tell you guys, get yourself a routine, a consistent routine that you can follow on a daily basis. Sit down once a week and set up your routines, guys, and input everything that needs to be inputted in there and execute. It's too easy. I don't know why we complicate ourselves when it comes to routine. We keep fighting that we're going to do this mental note of what it is that we have to do throughout the day. And let me tell y'all, come here for the rude awakening. If you don't have a schedule, your accomplishment is zero or none. Okay? If you do not have a schedule, because our little brains, as we get older, tend to drop the ball several times. Okay, so jot your stuff down, put your things down on the things that you want to do, that you want to accomplish throughout the day. And also, don't forget, also in the gig economy, I also mentioned that you got to schedule in the amount that you want to make on a daily basis or a weekly basis so you can work towards it. Proper prior planning prevents poor performance. If you guys do not have a schedule, if you guys do not have a routine on what it is that you're going to do, just like how you had to pencil in your prayers, some of us may have to get up at 3:30 in the morning in order to communicate with God first and get covered and, put on the armor of God and everything before we leave the house. Some of us 6 o'clock may be the time that you start your day. Some people start their day a little bit later. But if you feel like you're not getting accomplished throughout your day, you may need to start getting up a little bit earlier or pre-prepping yourself from the night before. That also can help put you on the right steps in order to execute your schedule. Okay, sometimes for me it's a little bit overwhelming because I want to go off schedule and I want to add extra stuff in there. The extra stuff in there that was not jotted down, guys, I fail. Okay, do fail. So this morning, like I was mentioning, I started off on Lyft. I call it Senior Citizen Day. Today's Thursday is because people came into the car. We laugh, we joke. I mean, I had a little 70-something-year-old man in there talking about he was married to a Filipino girl, and you start hearing some stories, and he's telling me, he's working on creating his first child, and I was like, no, Lord, please, not today. I don't want to hear certain things. One thing on the driving app, some conversations you may not be a part of. You're just listening in because that person just loves to yap, and you just let them roll because they're probably going 5 to 10 minutes. But some conversation for 10 minutes is things that you don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that little 70-something-year-old man talking about he married for the last 3 years. He's going into 3 years anniversary with a 35-year-old girl. And I'm looking at him like, oh, okay. But Lord help me, I had to repent because I was judging him. I sure did. I was like, what you doing with your little grandpa self talking about you marrying a 30-something-year-old? Sometimes it's like things like, I don't want to hear it. It's too much for me, and then sometimes you cut the conversations and you shift into something different to try and thread it lightly, and what can I say after he said, you think I'm thinking that I may a twin may be good, and I'm looking at him like, oh, okay, okay, bye-bye. Have a good day. And then I had another one with another 70-something-year-old lady. I picked her up from the hospital, and she's having these conversations with me, and she's starting off, she's telling me she's nearly 80 and everything, and she's just having these normal conversations with me, and all of a sudden she just got spicy and telling me about her husband, and he passed away. And like I say, a lot of time guys, you end up having conversations with individuals, and basically most of the time is things that you don't want to hear. But what can you say? I mean, what could I say? Get out of the car. And then the last person that I took in that was in her 60s, she was a lady as well. The 80-year-old lady, she was very off the charts. I mean, she was a retired nurse, and she was just using words that I never used in my life. And I'm looking at her like, God bless you, like, okay, ma'am, And then she said, oh, I'm so sorry, automatically going to start apologizing when they realize that, their conversation is something that you're like, really? Oh, okay. And I just be quiet, and then she stopped her conversation, and I switched the conversation into something else that was more communicable than what she was trying to talk about how in the hospital, how she she put people in their place, and she's one of those classic nurse where they do everything hands on, and some people just do this and that, and you're gonna have the whiners. One thing I'm learning on Lyft, you're gonna have a lot of criticizing, condemning, and a whole bunch of complaining, the things that I'm running away from and I'm trying to change in my life. Like, on Lyft rides, some people have good days. You're going to have people with positive vibes. You're going to find people with negative vibes. You're going to have people that feels like that everything is ended just because their day, they had one hiccup. Everything else is ended. I'm just saying, you're going to find a lot of different variety of personalities on these apps, especially when you're doing driving, and you don't know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolate. Like Forrest Gump say, life is a box of chocolate. You just don't know what you're going to get. Some days you're going to get good rides. Some days you're going to get riders. All of them have no tip. And then some days you're going to get everybody's going to give you tips. So one thing I must say with my Senior Citizen Day, which is today, they all were very generous with their tips. Maybe because they didn't have nobody to talk to as a 70-something-year-old, 80-something-year-old, nearly 80 years old, and I was that listener for them for 10 to 15 minutes. And, I kept the smile, even though I was like, ooh, okay, that was a little bit much. The one that threw me south was a little old man that talking about he had a little young girl that's less than half his age, and I'm like, okay. All right. That was not entertaining for me, but he was happy telling me that he was in love and he found love, hey, to each his own. Okay. I was like, okay, sir, you have a great day, good luck, kudos, good luck to you and your twins that you're looking for. And he's like, yes. And sooner than later, we're going to have it. And I'm looking at him like, okay. All right, sir, go ahead. You go ahead. You go ahead with your bad self. But what can I say? He had a great tip. He had a great attitude. Very positive, by the way, to find people, that you can have conversations with, and you may not have to identify with them in everything, but just listening, just be a listening ear. So if you're that type of person that you don't have an issue, like, having a normal conversation sometimes, and sometimes some people don't want to talk. They just want to be on their own, in their own space, and you just leave them alone. So having that variety of different moods to be in and style, you got to get adjusted to it. You will know, okay? Because the moment they open your car door, if it's morning, you say good morning, and they'll say good morning. And if they don't say B, I don't say nothing either. I'm like, okay, we gone, we driving. If they say, how's your day today? And I say, and then we go, they say, I actually is the one that greet them first, and I say A, and if they say B, and then if I say C and they don't respond, I say then deuces, I be quiet, because that means they don't want to talk. So learning the room, reading the room when it comes to the driving app is definitely a plus, okay? Now, when it comes to the food apps, you're still going to have scenarios, okay? You're going to have individuals that I mentioned to you that do not communicate at all, that don't leave a message, and you got to drop their food off. Maybe they give you the address for the next door neighbor's house and forgot to tell you that they're across from the neighbor's house, and you go and drop the food off at the address that they gave you when they only pinned that address because it brought you directly to that location. And then all of a sudden, last minute, you get a call. You dropped it at the wrong house. I forgot to tell you it was at the house across from that address. And I'm like, oh, well, deuces, you better walk over to the next door neighbor house and pick up your food. That type of scenario will happen. Both apps, for me, since I'm already used to them, is definitely a plus, depending on what day of the week and how you want to work apps and how you want to make your money, by the way, and if I have to weigh both of them, sometime if it's raining, I prefer to do Lyft because I don't have to go in and out of my car. I like to drive instead of getting in and out, getting wet and stuff. The only disadvantage when it's rainy days is that the back of my car, I'm very like OCD. So if I see all that little mud, some people don't even clean their feet off. They just straight go in your car. And once that happens, guys, you know what? For me is I'm like, okay, I'll do a few rides and then I'll have to get out and clean, make sure everything look tidy in the back when it rains. But I'm not in and out of the car. Like if I'm picking up food, going through the rain, getting wet, it's less messy for me up front. But yes, I don't do as much rides in the back because I don't like seeing mud and all that. Once I start seeing the mud and people's shoes all messy, to me, it's not fun anymore. And I don't like all that extra work that I have to do at the end of the day, by cleaning mud. So advantages of drive is that part. Advantage of drive is sometimes you just do want to talk to somebody and you be their therapist and they be your therapist. Sometimes you just need to have conversations and you're out more and you're meeting different variety of people. You can learn different personalities, for free because you will get different people. Some people is going to be nicer than others. Majority of people, they're different, so you get to know them and learn them and keep it moving. On the food app, besides people having dogs and not telling you, that's another thing. That's another big thing, especially if you're in Hawaii. Everybody have a dog, and it's not no little midget dog, okay? It's not a little puppy, it's not a little chihuahua. They have Rottweilers, they have bulldogs, and these dogs are huge, and they leave them loose in their front yard, and some people don't have fence, so they'll tell you put it by the front door, and they forgot that the dog is outside, and all of a sudden you get attacked. And I'm gonna tell you something. The last time I handed them the food, the dog got the food, I pushed that food straight in his face when that big old dog come jumping up on me, and the guy was like, oh, he's just friendly, I don't know your dog though, so how are you gonna say he's friendly? I'm thinking I'm under attack, and this dog is taller than me. When he stood up and he pitched on me, he nearly took my chest out, and I was like handing him the food. I'm like, take your food, and I was upset. Okay, the last time a few days ago I was doing a Walmart Spark, and the lady's like, put it by the front door. Well, she don't have a fence, and I'm not even thinking that she have a dog because she don't have a fence, and she told me put it by the door. I'm texting in real time with this woman. All of a sudden, her big Rottweiler comes around. As I hit the carport, he start dashing for me, and I had a box of Pampers. And let me tell you, I was about to take that Pampers right and left with that dog. You hear me? However, though, she came out real quick. Oh my God, I'm sorry, I forgot the dog. I was like, woman? I said, what's wrong with you, woman? I was so upset. And that's all came out of my mouth. Yes, that's my anger tantrum that I have. It's like, what's wrong with you, woman? And I didn't smile either. And she was apologetic. I know. Afterward, I gathered myself and I was like, you know what, Paulette, calm down. It's okay. The dog didn't attack you or anything. But what if he was huge? What if, things happen in this gig economy, things happen. So be mindful, especially if you're in Hawaii. Dogs exist, and that's their baby. Okay. The dog don't know you. The dog know the owner. So if you're in his territory, he's going to attack. That's his nature. All right. That's his nature. So that was my 1-2 for today on conversations on the go. You know, hold on. Give me a second. My daughter is making dinner, by the way, since I'm going to be late tonight. So she's making dinner. She says she's heating up some fish and chips or something like that. Whatever. That's her dinner with her brother. So you see, you guys got to train the kids. Okay. Mommy is not going to make it home early. You figure out what's in the refrigerator and you go cook for you and your brother. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Okay. That's how you do it. Not sitting there whining. I don't want to be going to eat. Figure it out. There is food. Pick something and be merry, be happy about it. All right, tomorrow I'll do a little bit better by getting home a little bit earlier. But this order, I just took it because I wanted to finish up my day. And let me tell you, today was one of those days where you could just feel the blessings just flowing. I mean, the blessings was just like, whew. It was just coming back and forth, like boom, here we are, another one and another one and another one. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, some days you just got to take advantage of. When days are going good, you better ride that wave. Okay, you better learn how to surf and ride that wave, because you're gonna have days that's gonna be droutish. You're gonna have to probably lace up and put on your stuff and do some walking. But right now, when it's time to ride, you better ride the wave. And that's what I've been doing when it comes to my my gig. Okay, because my gig is something I don't treat as a hobby. It's my business. Okay, so I took this contract just now that for me was worth it. It was 3 items for $30, and I don't have to shop the items, so that's a good thing. That's another good thing when it comes on certain days. You don't have to shop because they're doing the shopping for you. You just got to pick up and roll with the punches. It's one drop, 3 items, it's already shopped. $30. Why not? 10 miles for $30. I mean, it's better than a DoorDash order. DoorDash would have you shopping for that order, and not only shopping, they would have you in an area where it was a complicated shop, and then you have to deliver it to another complicated location. That's how DoorDash will work. And you probably may get like $12, maybe less than that. But Walmart Spark is going to give you that 30 now. Okay. But you got to also be assertive. You get in there when they send you 15 orders, you look through and you find one that makes sense to you. And that's that's the contract that you pick up. Okay. But with that, guys, that's all I have for you today. I don't want to keep you guys long. I just want to let you all know that, every day we out here, we are creating our income. And when we do create, we also is very giving, and it's nothing wrong with that. Freely give, you freely receive. And today was one of those days where the Lord say, I'm gonna bless you, bless her again, bless. And when your blessings get overflowing, you just start a bless too. Pay it forward. You know that, okay? So when you bless somebody else. And I was like, Lord, I can't take it no more. It's so much. Like, hold up a little bit. Can you turn? Don't turn the pipe off now. You keep it dripping, but slow down a little bit. It's too much. That kind of stuff happens. You imagine you have to tell them, like, Lord, I see the blessings. It's a lot of blessings, but I'm only one person. Like, give me a time. I know, Lord. I know you got a lot for me, and I'm ready to take it, right? I'm ready to receive it. But then slow down a little bit. So I took a lot this morning. I went nonstop. I did one charge. I went and I worked again, and I went home. And then by the time I got home, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do just one more to close the day off, and so I could feel like I accomplished something, because I didn't work on Monday. I told you guys I took the day off. I didn't do nothing on Monday. My brain was like, I'm not doing anything. My body said, Paulette, it's okay to slow down. It's okay not to do what you normally do. Switch up a little bit. So I stayed home. I didn't do anything. So now in my head, today was the day that I had to recover. Okay, and the blessing just came double. Sometimes it comes triple, and you just take advantage of that day. And today, that was one of those days. I took advantage of today, because Monday I did not put my best foot out. I took the day off, and somebody got to pay the piper. One day got to pay the piper, either today, tomorrow, and today was that day that I got triple triple blessings today, and I'm gonna finish this up, and I'll be heading home, and then tomorrow is another day. It's Aloha Friday, okay? But today also I wanted to mention to you guys, it's my 12th week. I completed 12 weeks on my health and fitness journey, and I just wanted to make sure that I share that with you. I knew I started off, week 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way, and then things happen. Life happens. You decide, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and then things just happen, guys, where you're no longer able to continue the content. It's happening. I'm still consistently watching my eating and making better choices, and I'm still doing it, but then it's so much other things that you want to talk about, and sometimes you just miss that one. So I miss a few days, a few weeks of update that I was sharing with you guys, and right now I'm letting you all know I just finished up 12 weeks. So I'm going in tomorrow, I'm going into my 13th week on my weight loss journey, or healthier choices. I won't say weight loss. It's putting a tag on something that's too much pressure. I'm going to say making better choices, okay? I am definitely starting week 13, and I must tell you all, it took me week 1 to week 10 to activate mentally, to say, okay, I think this is going somewhere. Okay, I think we're going to go somewhere. And, like anything you do and you want to do, you want to get to the goal. However, though, there's going to be hiccups, as much as I want it to be, but I know I'm not going to be like 120 anymore. I was that long time ago. And a lot, from like, probably, I don't know how, I was young when I was 120, and then I went to 140, and then I said, I'm not gonna go anymore, I'm gonna stay right here. And girl, after a couple of kids, you done passed the mark, you surpassed, okay? So now we trying to get back onto a normal weight, something where you can put on those clothes and you don't feel like you're wearing the clothes instead of the clothes wearing you, that type of stuff. Because when it's too tight, the clothes is wearing you, you're not wearing the clothes. So I just wanted to say that I want to get to that area of my life where everything will just flow together. And it's flowing, guys. Week 13 on my health and fitness journey. Today is health and fitness, and we want to be able to shout out everybody that's on their health and fitness journey, and for some of us it's easy, and for some of us it's very hard. It's not easy, okay? It's very hard. Hi, sister. How are you doing, Sashaya? Hope all is well. Thanks for coming in Life with Paulette. We are just reminiscing today. I was just updating in regards to the gig economy and a little bit of my health and fitness journey. I'm going into week number 13, and the struggle is real, girls. The struggle is real. I'm married for 23 years now, and that don't mean nothing. You still got to keep your health going and looking like something, okay? You still got to keep it together. And I'm not even talking about my single sisters. You definitely got to put extra work in. Imagine, at least I won't give myself a pass. Regardless if you're married or single, you still have to make good choices when it comes to your health, because we want to stay around for a little bit. You want to stay around for a little bit, and then sometimes making bad choices, it's just will take us out faster. We don't want to leave, right? We don't want to leave. I ain't ready yet, Lord. No, I'm not ready yet. So I need to figure out how I'm gonna switch up, and I'm gonna change up to better me. Okay, so with that, guys, that's all I have for you all today. I told you guys I'm just finishing up my gig. I have one delivery, a pickup at Walmart Spark, and I'm gonna finish off my day and complete my gig today at 300. So today was my $300 day, and it's money to be made. Okay, It's zero risk for you. The only risk you have is driving your car from point A to point B, and occasionally you will get a crazy customer here and there, but it's slim to none. You can handle it, guys. You can handle it. You're on your faith walk. You know, you're on your holiness journey. You can handle it, okay? You have a thick hide, and you develop that thick hide of a rhinoceros. You're going to have the brain of a scholar and a heart of a child, okay? That's our goal. That's our goal. So if you're on your holiness journey and you're on your faith, that's the three things that we are all thriving to develop, because it's going to be needed. And the best way for you to develop that is in the trenches. When you're in the trenches, when you are getting yourself to the point where, you know, consistency. So you're going to get consistent things that's going to love you to develop that hide of rhinoceros. You're going to have consistent things happen to you, and scenarios where you're going to develop, you know, the heart of a child, because you're going to be more humble. You're going to come more meek, you know, and then you're going to get that mind of a child where you're going to learn to be more teachable. Meaning you receive knowledge is power, and people's going to have to tweak you here and there, and you got to be humble enough to receive it and change. Because change is not easy, but it's necessary, okay? And it's hard, but it's necessary, and it's only for make you better. That's how you grow, okay? When you chisel and change to make yourself better. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna see you all on the next one. I love y'all, and deuces, a bitty goodie babies. Bye bye. See you on the next one. Thanks for coming in.